Hi, I'm Dr. Joel Hunter, and today I would like to talk with you about macular degeneration. I'm an ophthalmologist, and so I spend a lot of my time talking to people about their eyes and a lot of my time trying to fix people's eyes. And I have noticed that macular degeneration might be number one amongst all of the most feared eye diseases. And so it is worthy of our time today. Now to start, let's talk about why. So macular degeneration, it's got a hold of the public consciousness when it comes to ophthalmology, partially because no one's really heard a lot about different eye problems. Astigmatism, that one's up there too. But macular degeneration, it's got a couple of reasons to be famous. One, the name, it sounds medical. It sounds frightening. It sounds like there's pathology to that, and it's relatively easy to remember. And everyone knows someone or knows someone who knows someone that had macular degeneration. So I think the name has something to do with it. The second one is it sounds scary. The name itself sounds scary. You know, degeneration and macula. I mean, that sounds like a medical thing. And when people hear it, they think always of the word blind. You know, they know someone or know someone who knows someone that went blind from macular degeneration. Or they saw The Sandlot, you know, that one guy's blind. Although I think he was blind from a hit to the head with a baseball, James Earl Jones. But anyway, blindness scares people, and people associate macular degeneration with blindness. That makes it scary. But the third one, and I think this is what contributes to its fame the most, there are myths surrounding macular degeneration. And probably the biggest one is that it is super common. The deal with this is, I don't want to disregard that there are people that have macular degeneration. Amongst diseases, it is more common than more exotic sounding things. Fundus flavimaculatus, serpiginous choroiditis, those are eye problems too. No one has those really, so nobody's heard of them. It's common enough that people have heard of it, but it gets thought of as more common than it is. In the general population, it's only about 1.5% that actually have macular degeneration. That's a lot of people because there's about 300 million people in the US, but it's not as many as something like diabetes. It's 10% of the population. But with diabetes, you don't think about blindness, you think about sugar, you know, sounds almost nice. Not that people like diabetes, but it doesn't scare people the way macular degeneration does. So next, I want to tell you what it actually is and hope clear up some of those myths. Thank goodness for fast forwarding. That was a lot of erasing. So the deal with macular degeneration, it helps a lot of times with things like this to break it down into its words. So there's two of them here. One is macular, and the other one is degeneration. Degeneration. So macula, what's that? Well, if you look at the eyeball, this is going to be a somewhat crudely drawn eyeball. That's the whole sclera outside of the eye. This from the side, that's the cornea. If you looked at your iris, the color part of your eye from the side, it looks like that. You got this lens sitting behind it. And then back here, your optic nerve plugs into the back. Back here, that is your retina. And smack dab in the middle of it is your macula. Now, the macula it's a region of the retina. It's kind of like Orlando is a region of Florida. Indianapolis is a region of Indiana. Probably the most accurate one would be if you let's see, I'm going to try to draw the United States here. That's Texas. Oh, it's very pointy Texas. There's Florida, Maine, Oregon. All right, so if you were to travel right here, kind of right to the center, this is Kansas, God's country. I lived there for a while. It's a nice place. Kansas would be kind of like the macula. It's not that it's small, considering the size of the United States, it still takes a long time to walk across Kansas, but it's smaller than the whole US. The macula is a small part of the whole retina, just like Kansas is a small part of the whole United States. Also, it's right in the middle, the same way. So that's what the macula is. When you're talking about the macula, you're basically saying the 1.5-ish millimeter diameter circle where all of my good vision is. It's your central vision. Everything that you see about 20/70 to 2200 or better, all is done with that one central spot. It's about where if you hold your thumbnail out in front of your face, you'll notice if you do that, you can't read very much on either side of your thumbnail. That's your macula. It's a very tiny spot. And that's why this word matters. Degeneration, if it loses its vitality, if it degenerates, you lose the one part of your retina that you use for all of your good vision. Now, it's important to know that for two reasons. One, it's a real problem to lose your central vision because it's where all your good vision is. But two, you don't lose your peripheral vision. So we said earlier that about 1.5% of the population has this. But for the people that go on to develop severe macular degeneration, which is you've lost all of the central macula, depending on what study you read, it's like 5 to 10% of those people. And again, that's still a real number, but it's 5 to 10% of the 1.5%, which we're getting bogged down into numbers. But I'm trying to say that the degeneration that happens, it's a problem, but it's not as widespread. For the people that do fall into this category though, all of their vision that's 2200, all this peripheral vision out here is just as good for them as it is for you or me. If you were to go wave next to their head right here on the outside of their vision, they'd see that just as well. It's that central vision that's missing. So what makes it go missing? So what causes that damage? Hold on, this spot's gonna drive me crazy. There we go, now we're talking. That spot won't bother me. All right, what causes it? Here it is free radical damage. Free radicals, they are basically atomic destroyers. They go around and contribute electrons where they shouldn't, and so what you end up with is damage to areas that are very highly metabolically active. Free radical damage happens disproportionately to areas that a lot of metabolic activity is happening. And as you can imagine, your macula, where all of your fine detail vision is happening, there's a lot of metabolic activity. And so the way that you fix this, and the way that you slow it down, is by taking these AREDS, Age-Related Eye Disease Study. And now the Age-Related Eye Disease Study 2 came out, which sounds like it's like a sequel, like a Rocky movie. But we were really excited about this because it took it was something insane, like 20 years for it to come out, and decide what exactly are the best nutrients to take in pill form to fix this. And it came out pretty conclusively that the best ones, the ones that help the most, are vitamins C and also E. You got zinc, copper, zeaxanthin, sounds like a flower name, and then there's lutein's in there. And so when you put these in the same vitamin, you would say that this is an AREDS approved formula, and what it's designed to do is to slow, or more accurately, I was going to say it's designed to stop, or more accurately, slow down macular degeneration. What do these all have in common? They are all antioxidants. Antioxidants are what stop free radical damage, because free radicals cause this oxidative stress. And so you take these in order to slow that down. And what you're actually trying to slow down is the formation of these guys right here. So there's this, it's a German name. I actually had this German lady patient one time that explained to me what a drusen actually is in German. It's some sort of like sedimentary collection that you find. It's a rock that's got these layers to it, which is so accurate because drusen are what show up in the retina when you have enough of this free radical damage. They show up in the macula. The thing to know about this is that 97.5% of people get a drusen at some point in their life. Clearly 97.5% of people don't lose their vision. And so probably the best way to know whether you just have a drusen or no drusen, or if you've got a lot of them and they've become confluent and your damaged macula is no longer able to see as well, the best way to know all that is to see a guy, and his name is the retina specialist. And these guys and gals, they spend their lives dealing with just the retina. And so they can give you an idea about where you are on the spectrum and give you ways to monitor that. They'll tell you about AREDS. the important thing is, if you've been given the diagnosis or if you're just wondering, to actually get information about it, because almost certainly the more information you have, the better you will feel about it, because it's a situation where the name and the fear surrounding it is pretty disproportionate to the percentage of the population that it affects. And even those who have severe macular degeneration, there are a lot of methods now to help them have meaningful vision with that remaining peripheral vision that they have. Mostly the goal of this video was to give you an idea of what it is and what it's not, and hopefully it was educational. Thanks for listening. I haven't really thought of a good deleted thing. Should I say that? Should I say, are you sure enough about the Disney thing that I should say that Walt Disney, what was it, he named Kansas? For our deleted scene here, I just want to say, I meant what I said about Kansas. It's a very nice place. I don't want you to associate it all with macular degeneration. And depending on what Austin just told me, it may be that Walt Disney was born there and was the president of Kansas. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful night.